All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Get ready. This summer, the Arena League Sports is on ASAP Network. Tune in live on either the Tiki Live or Roku app, as well as your smart home TV.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy, Johnathan Mathis. What's up? Thanks for joining me for the premiere of Speaking with Judgment, hosted by me. And, this show is brought to you by Johnathan Mathis, the sports judge, courtesy of my good friend, Freddie Henderson. It is April 7th, Thursday, and I'm feeling great today. I'm happy to be here. I'm in the booth. I'm talking sports. It can't get any better than that. We got a great show for you today. This show is going to be on and popping. There's plenty to talk about. We're gonna discuss the Lakers. They were put out of their misery. We're gonna talk about the NBA playoffs. We're gonna have to get into the NBA MVP. We're gonna dive into that. And then, hey, Tiger has returned. He's back at the Masters. Let's see what he can do at Augusta National. And we'll be talking about that. And we'll also get into the NFL, talk about Stephon Diggs' new deal. And we got an hour to do this, and I think we could cram all that into an hour. What's going on, Freddie? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining me for the premiere of this episode. It's quite fitting that it's you, because you're the founder of this network and you make all this happen. There's so many endless possibilities with you, my friend. So let's hear from you. What's going on?
Hey, everything's going good on my end, man. But till you mention them doggone Lakers, what we got to talk about them for, bro? Like, what is there to talk about? I mean, is there anything to talk about, Jonathan?
I mean, we're sounding repetitive talking about them, but I mean, hey, it's a big headline, right? In the sports news, it's dominating the sports page, particularly here in Los Angeles. I don't know how it is in Texas, but here, that's all everybody's talking about. The Los Angeles Lakers, how they were put out of their misery, how they didn't make it to the playoffs, not even the play-in tournament. This is something that LeBron James has criticized, and you can't even get your team to the play-in tournament. How silly is that? That's crazy. Look, this team, it started the season with promise, but it ended with pain. I mean, this is something that will hunt the Lakers in the offseason. People are questioning LeBron James and his legacy. They're holding him culpable for this season that spiraled out of control, and the Lakers couldn't get a grip on the season. Man, I don't know how you feeling about it. I mean, just from the tone of your voice, it told me everything that I need to know, that you're feeling the same way as I'm feeling as a Laker fan. Very frustrated, shocked, in disbelief. Everyone is wondering what the hell happened to the Lakers, man. What's your take on this?
Listen, Jonathan. Let's dive into it, bro. So let's start. We're gonna start from the top to the bottom. Jeannie Buss. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give her one more year to turn this around.
Mm.
If not, I'm gonna be pledging for her to leave because throughout her tenure of her being a coach, owner, what have she done? What have she done outside of the bubble championship?
I mean, they won a championship.
Outside of that championship, what have she done?
Hey, it's been a terrible run since she has taken over, as the owner.
And my problem is with Jeannie, and it's not that she's a bad owner. I think she's a good owner.
No, she's a wonderful owner, wonderful person.
She's too many people influence her. Too many people just in the ear. You have Linda Rambis, you have Kirk Rambis. All of a sudden you have Phil Jackson in the mix. I'm like, so what? So, and then you have LeBron, you have his agent, and you have Rich Paul, and you have Touch Sports. Like, who's running the Lakers? Nobody really knows. Okay, that's the problem I have with her. Then you have Rob Pelinka. And to me, I've been saying this. I think Rob Pelinka is only relevant due to Kobe Bryant. He will not be a GM for any other team in the NBA. Let's call it what it is. They hired him because his relationship with Kobe. I believe Kobe was doing a lot of those things behind closed doors, making a lot of those moves. Now without Kobe, Rob is clueless. That's my opinion. Then you have to hold LeBron James for a lot of blame for this. Yes, you do.
Yeah,
you do. Because Russell Westbrook is there because of you. Magic Johnson came on First Take this week saying that they had a deal done with DeMar DeRozan on the sign and trade. But what happened? LeBron, AD was talking to Russ, and they wanted Russ. Frank Vogel, he's probably gonna get fired. I don't like it, but it's just I don't. You know why I don't like it? You know why I don't like it?
Because as a coach, you're supposed to hold the team together. What has he done? It's been a disaster.
I agree.
And this team, looking at this team, seeing this team play religiously, you could tell that they quit on Frank Vogel. That was quite telling the last 2 weeks of the season.
But you know what the difference is, Jonathan?
On Frank Vogel.
But you know what the difference is, though? This roster was not built for him to make this team successful. Frank Vogel got his bones in the NBA because of his defensive presence. You bring in a guy, and Malik Monk never played defense in his life. You bring in a guy, Carmelo Anthony, never played defense in his life. You bring in these guys that don't play defense but expect them to be a top defensive team.
You brought in a bunch of names. That's it.
Yeah.
You brought in a bunch of names, and you bring up defense. This team wouldn't get back on defense. This team didn't prioritize team play. That was another issue. Injuries sabotaged the season, quite frankly, and chemistry took a massive hit as well. This team never figured it out. They never came together collectively and played, a brand of team basketball. We never saw that. That was not really on display this season. And you got to hold LeBron James and Frank Vogel accountable for the mess that took place on this court. LeBron, wanted to play GM. He didn't do a great job playing GM. He's a terrible GM. One of the worst GMs of all time in NBA history. He needs to just go back to being a basketball player and not making the personnel decisions, because obviously he didn't do a great job making those personnel decisions. And I just saw Marcus comment below. Marcus is absolutely right. LeBron James needs shooters, and Russell Westbrook wasn't that shooter. He needs a guy like a Damian Lillard. He needed a guy like a Buddy Hield. The Lakers would have been smarter had they taken that route and traded for Buddy over Russell Westbrook. If you was going to give up your youth like you did in that trade, trading Montrezl Harrell and Kyle Kuzma to Washington, where they have seceded since they left the Lakers, no longer under the bright lights of Hollywood, then it would have been probably smarter had you decided to go with Hill, another shooter,
and that's why I say you can't put too much blame on Frank Vogel. The problem I have with Frank Vogel is that your voice got old. They was not listening to you anymore. But the thing is, what coach could they hire where it's going to make a big difference?
Oh,
Because we've
I
seen
can think of several names.
because I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this, Jonathan, because we've seen it. Frank Vogel went out. He got COVID. David Fisdale went right in there.
That's not my option. I'm not even thinking of David Fisdale. I'm thinking of Kenny Atkinson. I think he's great at developing talent. I think he's a great coach. I think they need a new voice in that locker room. I think players will buy into what he's preaching. He'll bring that fire, put that fire back into that team and those players. And I think the Lakers, to be quite honest with you, the Lakers just need to start over. They just need to start fresh. Anthony Davis is made of glass. He's part of the reason why the Lakers are not in the playoffs too. Because if he was healthy, maybe it would have been a different outcome for the Los Angeles Lakers. Maybe they would have at least, qualified for the play-in tournament, if nothing else. But this team just struggled throughout the season. They were losing to every team they played against. Even teams under 500 were beating the Lakers. I mean, it was just a season that imploded, and it didn't go as planned, and Russell Westbrook, landed with the Lakers in a trade. At first, it looked like a splashy acquisition, and it just didn't pan out. I think this offseason, your first move should be getting rid of him. You got to restructure this team. You got to get, like I keep saying, Freddie, they got to get younger. They need some players that can actually score points. They don't have that. And they need people that can actually defend, that's going to be committed to playing defense. That's something the Lakers had a huge problem with, was defending. They weren't good with ball movement. They didn't penetrate to the basket quite consistently. They were settling for all these outside jump shots, knowing damn well that they couldn't shoot the damn basketball, but they still gonna settle for outside jump shots, which was utterly ridiculous to me. This Laker team, look, I'm gonna tell you like this, Freddie, this Laker team deserved to miss the playoffs. They deserve to be taking their ass on vacation. Now they could go fishing with Kenny and Charles. Now they could go fishing. They brought this on themselves. They didn't play with a sense of urgency. They didn't take pride, and they just play a consistent brand of basketball, and again, what plagued them was the number of injuries. That was a huge problem all season long. I mean, if you really want a statistic, I could throw one out there for you. This Lakers new look big three of LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook combined to play just 21 games together through Tuesday. 21 games together.
Jonathan, your wife in the comments, I hope she know my name's not no Marcus. I hope she ain't talking about me. Miss Denise.
No, that's my middle name.
Oh,
I hate to reveal that because I don't like people knowing my middle name, but that's my middle name. And she calls me by my middle name.
I got you. Okay, I got you.
So you know what, man, Freddie, we're gonna stay with the Lakers though, man, because I mean it's just so much to talk about. We're gonna stay with the Lakers, man. We're gonna talk a little bit about LeBron James, because look, what does this say about LeBron James' legacy? Missing the playoffs, not getting the Lakers to the playoffs. What does this say about his legacy? Look, this is what LeBron has been known for, right? He's been the type of player that could elevate those around him, make people better on and off the court. That's been something of his caliber throughout his career, right? That's something that he's done well. A lot of people are saying that his legacy has taken a hit, that this has damaged his legacy to the highest degree. I disagree. Look, Michael Jordan had moments where he didn't win. games, I mean, you're gonna take an L sometime in life. Okay, that's part of sports. If you ever play sports on a competitive level, you know this. Anybody who's played sports on a competitive level, whether it's been in high school, in college, in the professional ranks, they know that there's gonna be days that are ugly and days that are gonna be pretty. There's gonna be some days where there's not flowers and rainbows, but where there's thunderstorms and dark clouds in the sky. That's just life in general, okay? So, I mean, LeBron is human after all, and he is going to have moments where he doesn't play well. But look, if we judge LeBron based on his individual play, you know, we could unequivocally say that he's the greatest player of all time. Now, you know how I feel about that, and you know where I stand when it comes to LeBron being the greatest player of all time. Hell no, he is not the GOAT. Not even close to being the GOAT. Now, people might, in this generation, might say he is because he has scored 10,000 points, 10,000. He has collected 10,000 boards, and he has dished out 10,000 assists. Am I correct? I'm right. That's a fact. But he has also lost 6 NBA titles and only won 4. I mean, we could bring that up as well. He's also has the reputation on giving up and quitting on his team. A lot of people say he quit on the Lakers. A lot of people are comparing him to Kobe Bryant in a negative way, because what they're saying is that, well, Kobe Bryant would have never done anything like that. He would have finished out the season strong. He would have played injured. And he would have showed up each night and gave it his all, as opposed to LeBron James, who sat on the bench, as if it was a way to send a message that, okay, well, if they don't care, and if they are not going to do anything to make this situation better, then to hell with it. I'll just sit out. I'm not going to put my body on the line and risk my health for a team that doesn't care and fail to make moves, during the regular season when they had a chance to trade for a talented superstar, during that time, in which they didn't. So where do you stand with LeBron's legacy? Because look, I mean, I don't think it affects his legacy that much. I don't think it has a significant impact on his legacy. Look, LeBron is one of the greatest players to ever play. Now, he's not the greatest of all time, and we could be here all night talking about that. But he is not the greatest of all time, and I think it's utterly ridiculous to say that he has, damaged his legacy. A legacy to me is what people think of you. A legacy to me is how people remember you when you die. A legacy to me is how other people define you as a person, and in his case, as an athlete. But in terms of him being this player who has a tarnished legacy now, that's crazy to me. I just don't buy into that. I think that's silly. LeBron's legacy remains intact, and I think he's done everything he can. I mean, look at how he's played this season, man. Look at how he's played. He's played at the highest level for a man. For a man that's 37 years old. 37 years old, and he's played at the highest level. That's amazing to me. And part of that's because of how he conditions his body and how he prepares coming into the season. But I'm going to give you the floor. Open forum. I'm going to give you the floor now because I've said enough.
So, first of all, Jonathan, yes, he played good, but it didn't lead to wins. That's how we judge these players. Does it lead to wins? And it did not lead to wins. We can blame a lot of problems on Russell Westbrook, which you've had this year, but there's moments where LeBron James did not look good on defense. There was games where he was turning the ball over at a high clip. There was games where he was shooting bad from the 3-point range. But most of all, he did something Westbrook didn't even do. And I think this is worse. I think LeBron James did something worse than LeBron James. He flat out quit. Flat out quit. If Kobe Bean Bryant and Michael Jeffrey Jordan had a chance to go to the playoffs, even no matter what seed they are,
Right.
they ain't sitting out no games. He set out 2 games. I won't be surprised if he play again. He will play again, watch, because he knows he's trying to get that scoring title. And that just shows me what's more important, winning or going after a record. There's a lot of people that criticize him, said that he was scoring all the points just to catch up to Kareem. You know, we would have been okay if he would have averaged 25 points a game. We would have been okay with that. But you know what he did? But how about?
I mean, he did, but
how about
it
if you
get him
score
to the
25
playoffs.
points a game?
Right.
But also you get other guys involved. Be a better leader. That will probably lead to more wins. We didn't need LeBron scoring 30 points a game. So heck yeah, it hurts his legacy. So I'm not saying he's not a good player. He is a good player, but it definitely got to hurt his legacy. I mean, not to even get into the playoffs.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I mean, not to get this team
This
to the
Lakers team
playoffs.
was atrocious. It was atrocious. And I mean, there was nights, Freddie, that I just didn't even watch basketball. I mean, because it was so depressing to actually process the whole thing with this Laker team. I think all Laker fans were blindsided by this, because no one expected this Laker team to miss the playoffs. I know you didn't. I certainly didn't. All of Laker Nation didn't. And, there's got to be some changes made. Someone's got to put their foot down. And it starts with Jeannie Buss. If I'm Jeannie Buss, I'm cussing everybody out. I'm cussing everybody and their mama out today, Freddie. If I'm Jeannie Buss, I'm making a statement. And there's going to be some players getting cut and waived from the team. I already read that Trevor Ariza is no longer part of the team, that he has been waived by the Lakers. They probably shouldn't have brought him back because you wasn't getting the 2009 Trevor Ariza. If that's what you really believed when you re-signed him, when you brought him back for his second stint, you wasn't getting the 2009 Trevor Ariza. You was getting one that was old, broken, beaten down. He spent half of his time on the bench anyway to start the season, because he was injured. So, I mean, this Laker team was just a total flop. They failed. They looked terrible. I mean, I could have played basketball better than that, Freddie. I'm sure the high school down the street that I graduated from, and that team is terrible. I mean, it's a terrible team. They probably could have played much better than that. You probably could have signed them to short-term deals, and they probably would have gave you a better effort night in and night out. But Freddie, I'm getting so irritated talking about the Lakers. I gotta move on to the next topic. Freddie,
there you go. I agree.
Freddie, this is not in the neck of your woods, but hey, and this is probably not in a lot of people's neck of the woods as well either, because look, I'm about to switch it over to golf, so I mean, hey, this might turn some of the viewers away, but don't worry. Hey, if you guys don't like golf, that's cool, because I'm a casual fan when it comes to golf, but I got to talk about my man Tiger Woods, because Tiger Woods has returned. He is back. Tiger Woods is back. This is a man who has gone through so much in his life. He's dealt with so many hardships, and he's done everything he could to rehabilitate his image, to try to clean up his image and conduct himself as a better person, as a better man. You heard about his transgressions, the sex scandal. I mean, this is a man who has been through hell and back, and he amazingly won a Masters not too long ago. It was in 2019. I remember writing an article on that story. And anything is possible. I'm gonna yell, anything is possible. Is that what Kevin Durant? That's what Kevin Garnett did, right?
Mm-hmm.
After they won the championship that year, after his Boston Celtics won the championship. So I'm gonna say anything is possible for Tiger Woods. Now I know a lot of people are saying that Tiger Woods the days are behind him, but you never count out Tiger Woods. And Tiger Woods is one of the greatest golfers to ever play. There's a reason why the Masters has gained so much viewership and why ticket sales have increased since he's returned to the golf course. That's saying something. That's saying a lot about Tiger Woods and the impact that he's had on golf, And I mean, for a long time, nobody could beat him. This was a man who was unbeaten. I used to love his customary fist pumps, where he'll pump his fist every time he'll do something amazing on the golf course. So that's why I'm tuned in, because I want to see what Tiger can do on the golf course. Freddie, what's your thoughts about Tiger Woods, man?
Man, man's the GOAT. Reason why I say that is because you brought it up. You go through all those adversity, go through all those situations, but you always come back. When we all thought he was done, officially over, we said that him getting hurt was going to get him away from the game. Nope, that couldn't even get him away from the game. And even though he's a shell of himself, right, he's still a threat. He still put fear in his competitors' heart, because they know that is you're going against an all-time great. You're going against one of the greatest of all time to ever do it. And you know that every once in a while he'll come back and get you. He'll show his old presence. But for him to just wanting to come back, man, is my whole thing. Just like him, the fight, the dedication, and that's inspirational to even people on our side of who's trying to make it big in the media business. That we know this business can be hard at times. We know this business will sometimes make you want to give up. But that shows us what we need to do. What Tiger did: continue to push, continue to grind, continue to be relevant in that sport, in this business. So, hey, it's definitely inspirational. He's the GOAT, one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yes, and he has endured so much, and he has continued to persevere and push through and overcome every hurdle that has stand in his way. Just amazing to me, and I'm looking forward to seeing this golf tournament and see what he does. He
looked pretty good today. He looked pretty good.
Yeah, he looked pretty good today. And Tiger Woods is definitely an inspiration. I mean, he's been there for his kids. He's been an amazing father. I know he had the horrific car wreck that almost claimed his life, but thankfully he survived, and he's able to, hopefully give us some more amazing stories. But I thought a few years back when he won the Masters, I thought that was a moment that unified us, that brought us together as sports fans, and it was just an amazing comeback, for a man who's been through so much. I would like to hear him roar once again and roar like a tiger that he is. That'll be great for the sport of golf, and that'll be great for him as well. What's up, Key? Key's in the house. Hey, what's going on? Hey, thanks for everyone who has joined us tonight. It's awesome. Don't forget to subscribe and like us and follow us. You guys are awesome. Without you guys, none of this is possible. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. This is great. This is a new show that I launched today. It's Speaking with Judgment, hosted by me, and then I will have guests on the show like you see here. My good friend Freddie, man. We're just here. We're just two guys talking sports, having a good time with it. We're sharing our opinions and what we think about sports. And now we're about to move on to the next topic, Freddie. Freddie, I should have stayed in the NBA, but I'm going back to the NBA. So I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit like a yo-yo. But hey, we're gonna talk about MVPs now, because that's a big topic right now. And after weeks, Freddie, I've been deliberating, man. I've been trying to figure out who is worthy of the NBA Most Valuable Player award and who will win it this season. As I noted earlier this year, I said that Joel Embiid was my front runner to win the award, and that I felt he was deserving of winning the award. But now I don't know how I feel. I'm leaning towards another player, and Freddie, he happens to be a big man as well. I'm gonna go with the Joker in Denver. I mean, there might be people that don't agree with this. It's a difficult task. It's difficult to say who's gonna win this award, as it always is. But I feel like Jokic is becoming the runaway product to win the MVP award, and I feel he's very deserving of it. Look, man, he's had less talent around him, and he's basically been the focal point of that Denver Nuggets offense. And without him, the Denver Nuggets wouldn't be in the position that they are now. Two of their superstars were out and injured. Jamal Murray was missing in action. You didn't have Michael Porter Jr. Jokic has been carrying the weight on his shoulders. I know it's been a heavy burden on his shoulders, but he's been able to lead this team. And, he has gone deeper in minutes. He has played at a high level. He's one of the best big men in the game. He definitely changes the flow of the game. He brings that physicality to the game. He can score in so many different ways. And I just like his ability to play the game, at such a high level. I think it's fair to say that he's been the best player this year, only because of the little talent that he's had around him. And, I think at time he's only gotten better. So it would be convenient for me to say that he is the front runner as of right now. And as great as Giannis and Embiid have been this year, and that's not to take anything away from them, but when you see the phenomenal year that Jokic is having without some of his teammates helping him, it's really impressive.
Yeah, I gotta go with LeBron James. Nah, I just playing.
You just got on LeBron's case, and now all of a sudden you saying LeBron?
Nah, I'm just playing. I'm going with the Joker as well. Nikola Jokic has been doing this by himself all year long.
Yes.
He had no Michael Porter Jr. He has no Jamal Murray. He's missing his biggest pieces. Joel Embiid, even though you didn't have Ben Simmons at the beginning of the year, you had a Maxey. You still had a Thibault. You still had a Tobias Harris. You still had Seth Curry. You had Danny Green. You still had pieces around you. And then you made the trade for James Harden. So you still had a team. Nikola Jokic did not have those players around him. The Joker literally has to do everything. He has to score. He has to facilitate. He has to rebound. In order for them to win, he has to put up big numbers every night. You're talking about a guy who's playing with Aaron Gordon. I mean, Aaron Gordon is a decent player, but he's not no Tobias Harris. I mean, I want to put him that high. He's then that's his second leading player. Jermichael Green. I mean, they're good, solid role players, but he did not really have a clear-cut number two option. So he's been doing this every year. He's been consistent. He's showing everybody that he's the best big man in the game. Now, I will give credit to Joel Embiid. I believe this is the year that he said, okay, I am coming. I am here. I'm about to show you that I can dominate just as much. So
yeah, of course. And when you look at the box score lines, he's put up some big numbers all this week. 37, 13, 9, 39, 19, 8, 41, 17, 4, and 38, 18, 6. And that's all this week. So, I mean, you know what? He's been sensational for this team. And you know, for a big man, he definitely has the passing ability as well. You know, we can sit here and say that he's the best passing big man in league history. I mean, it's still early. It's a little premature, but I mean, he ranks up there among the best passers, period. There's no doubt about it. The passing is awesome. He's able to facilitate, as you alluded to. You know, he makes those around him better. And, you know, the shooting efficiency has been off the chart. I mean, this guy, again, is putting up huge numbers. I really like him. He's a high usage player. He's very dependable. You know that you're going to get, you know what you're going to get from him each night because he, you know, he's so consistent and he does it night in and night out and he doesn't miss a beat. He continues to play at such a high level, you know, and we can't overlook what he's done, but we also can't diminish what Giannis and Embiid have done as well. It's going to be a close race, but at the end of the day, I think this award goes to Jokic, and I'll be very surprised if he doesn't get it.
I agree.
Absolutely. So now, man, we're gonna stay with the NBA because I know how much you love basketball, man. I love basketball too. I like all sports, but let's keep it in the NBA because the playoffs are looming. And we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs. And even though the Lakers are not there, oh, man, I mean, it's unfortunate. You know, the Lakers are not going to be there. They're going to be chilling in Cancun on some yacht somewhere, probably, you know, scuba diving or doing something. And hopefully Anthony Davis, man, he goes to the doctor or see a physical trainer or do something to get healthy. But let's brush that aside and let's talk about these NBA playoffs. Who you have winning? Who you think is the best team? I personally think the Celtics are the hottest team going into the playoffs, but we all know, Freddie, when the bright lights come on, it's a totally different ball game. I mean, we're talking NBA playoffs now. We're not talking any regular season game. We're talking NBA playoffs now. So this is sometimes when teams turn it on. This is when teams you know, have a different mindset. They take a different approach on things. I still think the Celtics, I know a lot of people are saying that the Celtics, there's some people saying the Celtics could come out of the East. I'm saying not so fast. No, I don't see that happening. I still like Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Bucks. You know, you can never bet against Giannis, especially what he did last season. I know it's a different year, but that was a historical run by Giannis last year. I mean, he single-handedly led his team to the NBA Finals and put the finishing touches, you know, on that championship a year ago. So I still can't count them out. You still have the Miami Heat in the East, which is interesting. You know, that's an interesting team. Eric Spoelstra is I always butcher his name. He's an underrated coach. He's done a tremendous job with that team. So you got the Heat. You got the Brooklyn Nets. And I always say this too about Brooklyn. I mean, because you have two superstars on that team. You have Kevin Durant, and let's not pretend like Kevin Durant is not one of the greatest players in the NBA. I mean, because this guy can score from just about anywhere on the floor. And we saw last night he had another incredible performance. You know, I think he dropped 38 points in last night's game. I mean, this guy is playing some of the best basketball right now. And then you have Kyrie Irving. I know he gets distracted and, you know, he has his off-court issues and the vaccine and his personal beliefs and everything. I get it, you know, but let's not deny the fact that he's one of the best point guards in the game, because when he's on his game and when he's laser focused, he might be the best guard in the league. I mean, this dude has amazing ball handling skills. You know, he could play ball. and he could really show up when he wants to play. And now that we're in the playoffs, you might see that Kyrie Irving, the one that shows up and perform to the highest ability. You know, we can see that from him. So you have Brooklyn, you have the Sixers too. I don't want to forget about them. You have Joel Embiid, and the Sixers, they're going to be another team to watch as well. And here's another thing about the Brooklyn Nets too. What people don't realize is that they have 4 good perimeter shooters that could light it up from beyond the arc. So, I mean, you got other teams out there besides the Celtics. I know what people are saying. The Celtics are high. Jason Tatum is a prolific scorer. But to me, the Celtics are still too small. They don't really have that interior threat like, the Sixers have. But we'll see. It's interesting. And then over on the West, you got the Phoenix Suns, who I think is coming out of the West. The Phoenix Suns have gotten healthy at the right time. Chris Paul is back. We all know what he's capable of doing. We all know that he elevates those around him. He still hasn't gotten over that hump yet to win an NBA championship. And that's the knock on him. Or that's the knock on Chris Paul, is that he hasn't gotten over the hump to win an NBA championship. A lot of people say he performs the choke job. A lot of people say he's not dependable in the playoffs. But he has turned this this Suns team around. He has come in there and changed that culture. And we saw that a year ago. He's back and healthy. And then, to me, the Suns have other quality shooters as well. You have Cameron Payne. You have Booker. So there's no denying the fact that the Suns are going to be around and that we can see them in the Western Conference Finals and beyond in the NBA Finals as well. And then you have the Warriors, of course, 2 of the purest shooters in the game. I mean, Klay Thompson hasn't really looked like himself. He's been kind of up and down since he's returned, but you still got Steph Curry, putting the ball in the basket. He's the Steph Curry that he's always been, the guy that can knock down and bury those 3-point shots. And then you got the Memphis Grizzlies. You got the young stud balling over there. You got a great team. They're well coached. Ja Morant is one of my favorite up-and-coming stars. He's ahead of his time, but he has really put this team on his back and has carried the load over there. So what are your thoughts on the NBA playoff picture, and what are your thoughts going into the playoffs as we approach them?
Listen, man, I know a lot of people want to count them out. A lot of people, I know a lot of people want to say they can't do it. But I'm talking about the Brooklyn Nets. I want to let everybody know we're talking about Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers that ever played a game of basketball. We talking about a guy, no matter where you on the floor, he's a problem. I'm talking about he could be 50 feet. He don't matter. If he have a shot, he can take it. 7 feet tall, got a handle, can dance on you and do all that stuff. Shoot the 3, shoot the mid-range, get you on the inside. I mean, he's just unstoppable. And then you have Kyrie Irving, a guy that can give you 50 at any moment, any day of the week. You talking about a guy that can have one of the best handles in basketball. We're talking about one of the guys that can, don't matter, pull up, shot, bang, mid range, bang. He's even lethal on the inside. And then you're talking about a Seth Curry who's going to get open shots because KD and Kyrie is going to get the attention. You're talking about a guy who can knock it down from just like his brother. Might not be as many as his brother, but hey, don't let him fool you. He is a Curry. He can knock it down. And so what I'm saying is, and don't let it be where Ben Simmons find a way to get back on that basketball court. Because if he finds a way, that just changed the whole dynamic, because that's where they just got better defensively. So I'm not sleeping on them. I won't sleep on the Milwaukee Bucks, because a lot of people not talking about them. But guess what? They doing their thing. They've been in this situation before. They know what it takes to win. They know what it takes, how to coast through the year. They know when to start ramping it up. And I believe we're going to see a different Milwaukee Bucks team headed into the playoffs. And then you can't sleep on the Memphis Grizzlies in the West. That young team. You guys know what the record is without Ja Morant, but you add Ja Morant in there, they're even better. So you can't sleep on them. Young team, they have nothing to lose. So hey, they're gonna go out there, they're gonna be hungry. Of course, you can't sleep on the Phoenix Suns. You have CP3, you have Devin Booker, you have Bridges, you have Aiden. Those guys, they have no weakness in that team from the top to the bottom. They are deep. They play defense and they score the ball well, and they're ran by a great coach in Monty Williams. So you cannot sleep on the Phoenix Suns as well.
I was just about to talk about Monty Williams because to me, he has done a terrific job with that team. He has, set a standard for that team, and that team has abide by those standards, and that team has brought into his system, and he's just an underrated coach, someone who came there, changed the whole dynamic of that organization, that franchise, and my hats off to him and that Phoenix Suns team. I still think the Phoenix Suns will come out of the West and get back to the NBA Finals. I just don't see anybody that can beat them. And isn't it crazy, Freddie? I'm mentioning the Lakers once more because this is a fun fact here. Look, the Lakers got eliminated from the playoffs in the first round a year ago against the Suns, and guess who ended their season?
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you do that now. Jonathan.
I mean,
Let's say last year they beat us because two of our players was hurt. So AD and LeBron was hurt, so they got a pass. But
this year,
yeah. So
everybody was hurt again. But we're gonna move on from basketball, and we're gonna talk a little NFL. Yes, we're talking NFL in the month of April. The draft is getting closer, but I'm not talking about the draft. I'm talking about the Buffalo Bills. And, there was just a big signing that happened this week. The Josh Allen to the Stephon Diggs combination isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Josh Allen is going to be heaving throws downfield to Stephon Diggs for a very, very long time. And, the Bills agreed to a 4-year extension with Diggs that has him under contract through the 2027 season. The 6-year total of the contract is 140. 140. How did I come up with that number? Where did I pull that number from? 124 million with 70 million guaranteed. 70 million of that money is guaranteed, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, who originally reported the deal. That's a lot of money for a receiver who's in the middle of his prime. A lot of people have been talking about it. He's definitely the Bills' top wide receiver, and he is in with the Bills for the long haul. I don't think this is necessarily a bad choice, Freddie. I think this is something that Bills fans are accustomed to because Brandon Beane doesn't waste any time locking up his players. He has made it a habit to, have his players negotiate contracts while they're under contracts. So most of the time, extensions get done. If you are part of the Buffalo Bills, over time, he has, gotten other deals done. Take two of their prominent members already on the team, Josh Allen and cornerback Tre'Davious White. This is not the first time. White got a new deal ahead of his fourth season in 2020, and it made him the highest paid at his position. And then, of course, they re-signed Allen to a new deal. They extended his contract as well before he was able to reset the market. So they made it a long-term relationship with Allen before, of course, the Ravens locked up Lamar Jackson. So this is something that the Bills like to do. They like to lock up players ahead of the market. They did that with Diggs ahead of the wide receiver market, and I understand why, because they want their players to be around for the long haul, and he's going to be there. But that's a lot of money for a wide receiver his age. That's why a lot of people had their questions about it. But where do you stand with this? I'm perfectly fine with this signing. I think if a player is valuable to your organization, you lock them up while you can. And you keep them around for many, many years to come. And the Buffalo Bills, they are a top contending team in the AFC.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I love it because Josh Allen love it. That's Josh Allen's partner in crime. They get along very well. As soon as they brought in Stephon Diggs, we seen Josh Allen take off. Every quarterback needs an explosive wide receiver, and Stephon Diggs bring that. He's a guy that you can play in multiple positions. He's a guy that you can put in the slot, outside the slot. He can run. He's a great route runner. He can key passes down the field. He have great hands. And he's fast. And that's the type of guy Josh Allen needs. And quite frankly, he's well deserved of that contract.
Absolutely. I mean, I think he's very well deserving of that contract, but a lot of people are saying that's a lot of money for a receiver that's in the middle of his prime, that that they're taking a huge gamble on him. Well, that's the type of business sports is. You're going to take gambles on players, and if you want to win, you have to be committed to these athletes, and obviously they're committed to these athletes. He's one of their top receivers. You definitely need all the receivers you can get because you don't really have a strong running game behind Josh Allen. That's something they really need to work on, is getting a strong running game behind him. Because you know what? If they don't, Josh Allen is gonna, and I don't wish injury on any player, but I'm worried about him getting banged up because he likes to run. He's a very mobile quarterback and he likes to be on the go. And if he sees that he doesn't have a strong running game, he's going to run it himself. And we saw that. We saw him put his body on the line last season and take a lot of hits. And he has absorbed a lot of hits, So that's something that's a little bit concerning if you're a Buffalo fan. You need a running game, a prolific running game, if you're going to have success, in the National Football League. And it's not, I know it's a pass driven league, and it's a pass first, and the Buffalo Bills are a pass first team, but they're going to have to address that glaring need and get a strong running back that can take some of that pressure off of the shoulders of Josh Allen. But I see why this deal got done. Again, I think Brandon Beane has done a great job as a general manager, making sure his players don't, be put on the market. He gets the deals done before they hit free agency. And that shows me that this team is committed to winning, that they know what they have, that they know they have valuable assets that can take them the distance and that can be around for many, many years to come. Now, Freddie, we're going to move on to the last topic here. We're going to talk a little bit about baseball. Today was opening day in baseball. Today was opening day. And you know how I feel about baseball, Freddie. It's like, it's America's pastime for me. It's a wonderful time, in the sports world when baseball is back. And for a long time, we didn't know if we was going to have baseball or not because the two sides weren't in agreement to have a season. And now that we have a season, we're seeing a lot of young players on the rise, man. And that's so exciting to me because I'm very obsessed with these young studs, And that's something that we continue to see each year is this youth movement in Major League Baseball. This is good for the game. It's exciting news. One player that stands out to me the most is the Royals infield prospect Bobby Witt Jr. And I saw what he did today. In his opening day performance, he was absolutely awesome. He went 1 for 4. He had a double. He ripped the double into left field. He was just tremendous today. And that's what Royals fans have been waiting for. For a few years now, the Royals have, taken a fall. They haven't been that team that a lot of people saw in 2015 when they won the World Series. They had some good years, and then once again they had some down years. But now there's a glimmer of hope because you have a young stud in Bobby Witt Jr. And this guy, he tore it up in Double-A. He hit 290. He slashed 290, 361, 576 across last season with 33 home runs. So this dude definitely has a lot of promise. He's definitely the future in Kansas City, and those fans have gravitated towards him since his arrival. He's just a special player. I think he fits in well with the Royals. You can basically put him anywhere on the field. His bat fits at the top of a big league lineup because of his ability to put the ball in play, get on base. His glove fits anywhere in the infield. He's going to start at third base as he did today. He has speed. He could fly. He's aggressive in his use on the base pads. Just an incredible player. And then you got the young stud over in Pittsburgh as well. Hayes, he just got locked into a new deal. Key Bryant Hayes, he got locked into an 8-year deal worth $70 million. The thing with the situation for him is that he plays for a Pittsburgh Pirates team that has not really been successful in a rebuild. That's what's troubling. And once before, we all know that the Pirates had a special player in Andrew McCutchen, who's no longer there, but they sadly wasted his prime. They failed to build around him. And that's my biggest worry with Hayes. Now that you paid him all this money, okay, that's fine. We get it. You wanted to lock up your superstar player. But what will you bring to the table? What pieces will you add around him to make this team successful while he's in his prime? While he is the star in the making. And that's just the biggest concern. But I like what I'm seeing in Major League Baseball. We got a lot of young stars. And to me, that brings excitement to the game. I just wish baseball marketed itself much better. Branded its league a lot better, because we got a lot of young stars just like we do in the NBA and baseball as well.
Yeah, I agree. Just for coming into the year, not knowing there's going to be a season with the lockout and all of that great stuff. Glad he's able to get a deal together. I'm not the biggest fan of baseball, but I've made a challenge to myself that I'm gonna start watching a lot of baseball games and learn the game of baseball, where I can come on here and talk it just as much as football, basketball, and the other sports. So, hey, I'm gonna start watching. But I know the team. I'm gonna be rooting for the Dodgers. So all my teams are LA teams.
I must have turned you out, huh? Because now
Well,
you're
no,
not there.
well, you got to remember, Jonathan. I was born out there.
I know.
I love Matty Johnson. So.
I know. Man, you know what? For this to be the first episode of Speaking with Judgment, this was an awesome show. We killed it, brother. We really bought the facts. We really bought the heat, And man, I mean, it was just awesome. This was awesome. We'll be back for more, definitely. I want to thank all our viewers, the audience. And once again, here's a friendly reminder. Subscribe and like us. Give this a thumbs up, guys. Without you guys, none of this is possible. I want to thank my guest tonight, Freddie. We'll have him on again soon. This show will air every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Freddie's time. Freddie's in Texas. I'm in Southern California. It's still sunny out here. It's hot as hell today.
It's dark out here. It's humid out here.
Oh, it's burning up today. It hit 100 degrees today here in Southern California. It's hot. And we got a heat wave coming up because it's going to get hotter tomorrow. Apparently, towards the end of the week, it's going to be even hotter. So we're bracing ourselves for this heat wave. And we're just living life here in Southern California as we usually do every day, each day. Again, I want to thank y'all. We about to wrap this up for my friend Freddie. It was a great show. This is Johnathan Mathis, the host of Speaking with Judgment. We'll see you next week for another episode of Speaking with Judgment. Peace.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics.